Hello, dear friends. Jorge Remel inspired me to write this article when he was talking about natural law. If a human being lies and harms others constantly, and even lies to himself, then he lacks a sense of honor, and this can be applied today to the political caste of all colors. We do not want a decadent society, but the moral principles of many people are decadent, or they betray themselves out of necessity. Nobody trusts anybody anymore, and every agreement must be made in writing, when before it was sealed with a handshake, based on the value of the given word. Opinion piece. Honor, a rare asset. No one can hide from himself. Being born implies a natural bravery. Virtue is the fountain from which honor springs. This is in short supply today in a mercantilist society. At the flea market, consciousness are resold and skin is bought. Lack of self-esteem produces rake human beings. A human being enters into dishonor when he doesn't do the right thing. Honor is scarce among merchants and plentiful among the military. A sense of honor implies an awareness of personal dignity and worthiness. Honor is based on integrity, chivalry, fairness, honesty, and respect. Let's start. 1, 2, and 3. What do you don't want for the Tracies? This was the beginning of a song by Pachi and Dion in the 70s, which referred to this Madrid flea market in the Lavapiés neighborhood that began in a semi-clandestine way back in 1740, and where all kinds of second-hand items were traded. This song caricatured this mercantilist society in which we live, where many people try to sell their soul to the devil. In quotes, "We sell you cheap with the price in English. We are as honest as you want to believe. Consciousness are resold. Skin is bought back. And if you are careless, we buy you. We sell ourselves on our face. We buy from you. And if you want money, we give it to you. You pay first and we pay later. If you want to cheat us, we live in. You save your ego and we save your skin. You live happy and we pay for our dinner with your ego." El Rastro de Madrid is an open-air market originally of second-hand objects, which is set up every Sunday morning and holidays in a traditional neighborhood in the historic center of the capital of Spain. It was born around 1740, around the Matadero de la Villa, occupying sidewalks of the slope of Ribera de Curtidores in the neighborhood of Lavapiés, a semi-clandestine market selling used objects called baratillos. Definition. A human being enters into dishonor when he or she does not do the right thing, as stated in natural law. Honor is a moral quality that leads to the fulfillment of one's duties towards others and oneself, as well as the glory or good reputation that follows virtue, merit, or heroic actions. Doing what is right is based on the principle of not wishing for others what you do not wish for yourself, as well as not lying, not stealing, not killing, etc. Nowadays, the right to honor is the object of legal protection both in the different national legislation and in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 12, of which states that, in quotes, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor to attacks upon his honor and reputation. Everyone has the right to the protection of the law against such interference or attack. Honor is associated with other rights, such as those relating to self-image and personal and family privacy, including the right to data protection, and above all, with the concept of human dignity. An honorable person is a honest person. Honesty is uprightness of mind and integrity of action. Synonyms of honor are dignity, conscience, and esteem. Dishonor, on the other hand, is the loss of honor that implies an affront or dishonor. Honor is a consequence of the excellence that the other has, in principle because he is human, and one dishonors him by depriving him of the dignity for which he has that honor, which is certainly produced by words, deeds, and omissions. One dishonors someone when one makes known what is contrary to his honor, and this happens by means of signs, and among the signs, words are the principal ones used to express the concept of the spirit. It is when a matter of offending by means of words the honor of another. Moreover, one dishonors another by deeds, inasmuch as his acts perform or signify what is against honor, but his acts in this case are as significant as the words. The honor of the samurai. The sense of honor, which implies an awareness of dignity and personal worth, couldn't be missing from the list of the way of the samurai warriors called Bushido. Being born implies bravery according to Antonio Arjona. In quotes, in the mind of every human being resides the love of Hana, but little does he imagine that what is truly honorable is found within himself and not anywhere else. Never condemn others. Be content with whether you live up to your own principles, according to Inazo Nitobe's book Bushido, 1905. Honor doesn't arise from any condition, but its existence depends on each one playing his role well. Tokugawa Ieyasu, samurai warrior and recognized as the greatest Japanese statesman of the time, emphasized, always be mindful of your own shortcomings. Temperance is the basis of a long life. To be born impatient is unbalancing. Virtue is the source from which honor springs, according to the playwright Christopher Marlowe. Perhaps the greatest human virtue is curiosity, according to Anatole France. The willingness to accept responsibility for one's own life is the source of self-respect, according to Joan Didion. Military honor. Honor is scarce among merchants and abundant among the military. The social stratum that most cultivates the sense of honor is the military, although the concept is applied differently than in civilian society. In the armed forces, honor acquires special relevance since they are personnel whose immediate mission is to safeguard the interest of the homeland, the integrity of the territory, and the sovereignty of the nation. Military honor is a moral quality that drives us to perform the strictest fulfillment of our duties, before our fellow men and ourselves. It is the basis of the discipline that governs the activities of all human beings, regardless of the social classes to which they belong. It is a feeling inspired by loyalty that leads us to demonstrate conduct consistent with the Army's own principles and guides us to the most exact fulfillment of duty and professional excellence. Virtue, honesty, and respect for others are phrases that must be constantly renewed for our own good and the satisfaction of others. The military finds in his own honor the necessary stimulus to fulfill his duties in accordance with the precepts stipulated in the laws and regulations governing the armed forces. Honor, justice, and morality are the basis of the discipline that regulates the conduct of the military, both in the performance of their services and in family and social relations. Honor is an essential value for the military because it acts as a guide for his conduct and as an engine that drives him to always act well in the fulfillment of his duty. It implies consistency between what should be done and what is done. It is recognized, therefore, in deeds rather than in words. Acting with honor means behaving with rectitude in all circumstances, above interests and difficulties, with authenticity and nobility, demonstrating an exemplary attitude on which prestige and good reputation will be founded. Honor is based and founded on a well-formed conscience in which many other values such as integrity, chivalry, justice, honesty, and respect for one's own and others' dignity are carefully cultivated. Reset News. Intelligence report. It is possible that the redemption event may not happen the way most expected. Rumors even suggest that the constant predictions and delays would be designed to keep everyone in the game, and possibly get more involved to distribute the wealth as much as possible and create an army of humanitarian beings in the future. Sources claim that the global implementation of digital currency would be the next step toward the transition to the quantum financial system. Countries are already stockpiling foreign currencies in preparation for this transition, as assets will be required to back the digital currency. China's banks accumulate a record of $1 billion in foreign currencies. $1 billion, I mean. All countries will begin to embrace the idea of digital currency, essentially abandoning the fiat system and combating with cryptocurrency. Among the first countries to implement digital currency will be the US and China. Once the US and China implement digital currency, the rest of the world will follow. The most important thing to watch is countries like Iraq, Zimbabwe, and Vietnam. Once these countries implement their own digital currency, we would see a revalue rate based on the assets of these countries. Sources believe this is when the currency swap event begins. Short news. Crypto mining scam involving nearly 100,000 Android users discovered. California-based security firm Lookout released a report Friday announcing the discovery of a major scam targeting Android devices. Bitcoin scammer to spend 15 years in prison after cheating 3,500 people. Roger Nils Jonas Carlson, a citizen of Sweden, had been sentenced to 15 years in prison after pleading guilty on March 3rd to charges of securities fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering after defrauding 3,575 people out of more than $16 million. Contagious mosquitoes detected in at least 7 U.S. states: Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Illinois, Iowa, Massachusetts, and New York. Mosquitoes carrying West Nile virus, which is capable of paralyzing people, have been detected. Cat survives in rubble of collapsed building in Miami. After 16 intense days of searching throughout the wreckage of the building that collapsed in Miami in the early hours of June 24, a cat has been found alive and returned to its family. The black feline is named Binks and was spotted wandering near the rubble of Champlain Towers in the south side and brought to the rescue group Kitty Campus. Chinese scientists have designed a fabric capable of cooling the body by almost 5 degrees centigrade and plan to launch its mass production in the future, reports Science. 2 engineers created a fabric that uses chemical bonds to absorb body heat and re-emit its energy back into space as mid-infrared radiation. The brains of the elderly memorize information like those of younger people. The brains of so-called super-agers, people whose cognitive abilities do not deteriorate despite their advanced age, are able to memorize information as easily as the brains of 25-year-olds, according to a group of scientists at Massachusetts General Hospital, who published the results of their findings on June 30th in the journal Cerebral Cortex. China plans to neutralize asteroid with 23 rockets. Scientists at China's National Space Science Center are proposing to deflect the asteroid Bennu, which will approach orbit in about 150 years, with the help of a swarm of 23 Long March 5 rockets, each weighing 992 tons. The spacecraft would take about 3 years to reach the asteroid. Bezos versus Branson. The extravagant British tycoon and founder of Virgin Galactic, Richard Branson, announced that he will fly into space on July 11th aboard to the VCC Unity aircraft. In this way, he seeks to steal the glory from Jeff Bezos, whose first flight is scheduled for July 20th. The competition between space tourism companies Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin reaches its peak with highly symbolic flights scheduled for July 11 and 20. In this nascent market, both companies have positioned themselves in the business of short space flights, which offer only a few minutes of weightlessness to passengers. The beautiful sleepers of the forest. The role of sleepers by Jennifer Crockett. Many are in crisis, which can be painful. You see the naked truth of reality as presented in this matrix, and you are also presented with the truth of you. The difference between the outer and inner truths is heartbreaking. Many no longer know where to turn, who to trust, how to cope, and how to move on. This is the dark night of humanity's soul, and you, the light workers, are bearing much of the pain and stress that others currently cannot. Your apparent inability to process what is happening is not stubbornness, ignorance, or arrogance. It is part of the divine plan. This evolutionary process has to strip away everything associated with all the lies and distortions of the past. It is part of the rebalancing process and cannot be rushed or avoided. Those who still seem to sleep are also playing their valuable role. It is because of them that the depth of the illusion is coming to light. If everything had moved 6 months ago, think of what wouldn't have been exposed to be cleansed and purified. Imagine the implications of that 10 years from now. Time is an important factor in this cleansing process, as it allows the physical world to manifest. It allows the known and instantaneous to a density that can be seen, lived and transformed. You, as a collective, which includes both the so-called awakened and the sleeping, have ensured that the bottom of the barrel is made visible. That had to be accomplished, and the slowing of the process was crucial to ensure that the light shone into the darkest corners. When the revelations occur, the change will be faster than you imagine, because the population that appeared sleeping was just waiting. They too were fulfilling their soul contracts. For this reason, feelings of animosity, anger, resentment, or arrogance towards your sisters and brothers who appear to sleep are misplaced and keep you locked into a them versus us mentality. A false war greed, an ugly aspect of the past cycle. You are all one and you are all vital. This process is an evolution, not a victory. More specifically, it is an involvement. It is a reorientation from external to internal, from power given to power owned, from slave to sovereign. Look within to reclaim your sovereignty, your divine knowledge, and your divine essence. The fruit and seed of your divine essence is love, compassion, kindness, patience, gratitude, humility, collaboration, and sharing. Do not look outside at others, waiting for change, for relief. That is as useless as watching paint dry. It is a waste of the divine potency of this moment. Turn inward, master the qualities of your divine essence by living them every day as much as you can, and you will create the quantum tipping point you seek. The truth is within you. Thanks a lot, dear friends.